If your first beehive is cute, but makes every inspection feel like assembling furniture in a thunderstorm, you bought the wrong kit. Welcome to rudeinsect.com.
And bees are not impressed by cute, which is the painful lesson here. They don't care if the cedar looks charming beside the garden. They care about dry wood, correct spacing, and whether you can open the hive without inventing new vocabulary.
Today we're talking beginner beehive kits, and the big takeaway is refreshingly boring. A standard 10-frame Langstroth setup is usually the smartest place to start.
Boring in the best way. The top pick from the testing was the Man Lake 10-frame complete kit. Not because it's flashy, but because it gives a new beekeeper fewer problems during that first season.
And that matters because first-year beekeeping already comes with plenty of problems. You've got bees arriving, a smoker to learn, mite checks, feeding decisions, protective gear, and figuring out where to put a box full of about 10,000 insects.
Preferably not right beside the compost pile, though I know someone who did that.
I feel personally attacked.
You should. The test yard was about 40 feet from the berry rows, in Zone 6B, with hot, humid summers, freeze-thaw winters, yellow jackets, skunks, and one neighbor mowing like he's qualifying for a tractor race.
So, a pretty honest backyard test. What were they really looking for in these kits?
Practical stuff. Did the boxes square up cleanly? Did the frames fit without shaving wax and wood with a pocket knife? Could you inspect in August without fighting every part of the hive? And going into winter, did the setup help manage moisture?
That moisture point is huge. New beekeepers often worry most about cold, but wet bees are the real winter killer.
Exactly. A colony can handle cold if it's healthy, has enough stores, and the hive isn't trapping damp air. But if condensation is raining back down on the cluster, that's trouble.
So Man Lake came out on top because it was dependable, standard, and easy to expand?
Yes, replacement frames, extra boxes, feeders, inner covers, all that stuff is easy to find. That's the beauty of a normal Langstroth hive. You're not locked into odd parts or special pieces that become a headache later.
I'll admit, I used to be tempted by those pretty boutique hives, the ones that look like they belong in a seed catalog photo shoot.
I'm going to disagree slightly. Pretty wood is fine if it's also well built. But if you're paying for looks and the frames don't hang right, you're buying future frustration.
Fair, and the other kits weren't useless. Hoover hives did well if you already have some gear and mainly want good woodenware.
Right, especially with wax-coated boxes. Dedant was more of the buy once, cry once option from a serious bee supplier. It may cost more, but you're paying for consistency and support.
Then there are the Flo Hive style kits. People love the idea because honey harvesting seems scary.
And I get that. Nobody wants to turn honey harvest into a sticky crime scene. But harvesting honey is not the hardest part of beekeeping. Inspections, swarm control, mites, feeding, and winter prep are what make or break the colony.
So you wouldn't make Flo style your first pick?
Not for most beginners. It can work, but don't let the harvest feature distract you from learning normal hive management.
And at the bottom, the cheap imported pine Langstroth kits.
Workable, but inspect them before bees move in. Check the joints, square the boxes, dry fit frames, and make sure nothing binds or leaves weird gaps. If you have to fix the hive before installing bees, that bargain may not be a bargain.
Also, don't choose a kit just because it includes gloves and a bee brush.
Please don't. Kit gloves are often bulky, or sized like they were designed by someone who's only heard of hands. Useful extras are nice, but woodenware quality matters more.
So the beginner advice is, start standard, start sturdy, and don't make your first season harder than it needs to be.
And remember, no hive kit saves you from mite monitoring, feeding when needed, or learning how to read a colony. Bees are livestock, not appliances.
That may be the line of the day. The Man Lake 10-frame kit wins because it's simple, compatible, and forgiving.
Thank you for listening to this edition of rudeinsect.com, Conversations with Grant and Fiona.